All right, we can't leave without covering the Need to Know podcast. So Joe Budden went over to the Need to Know podcast, and the Need to Know podcast is hosted by 𝙬𝙬, Alex, and Reggie. 𝙬𝙬 and Alex are
they still do a little bit of work.
They still do a little bit of work, but they were originally like engineers or backhouse, like video. They were the production for the Joe Budden podcast during like phase. They talked about it.
Second era?
They talked about it like 3 eras, 2, 3, and 4 almost, or something like that. Long story short.
And Alex is the Asian woman?
No, Reggie's the Asian woman.
Oh.
Yeah. Alex is the dude with the glasses.
That fucked me up, man.
Yeah, Alex is the dude with the
Saucy Santana's voice.
Alex, I didn't know this, because I've seen his podcast before. Obviously, when Elliot Wilson went there, this was like fresh off of him like posting us and shit like that. Elliot did that interview over there, so that was the first time I had saw the Need to Know podcast. Reggie, I learned in this interview, is a writer. That's how 𝙬𝙬 found her, because he said he liked her writing. She's a journalist for somebody. I'm not 100% sure what, but long story short, the interview was great. And the interview, well, I know one of the main reasons the interview was great, I watched the whole thing, is because Joe saves the best content. You only get the best version of Joe when he likes you.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to. So it's like Joe was going to his homie's podcast. You know what I'm saying?
A former associate.
Yeah. So, current associate.
Oh yeah, because they still doing work.
Yeah, yeah, and they're just like friends. Like they were working together for years and shit like that. So, that's one of the best things about Joe Budden. We might not. It matters, which is why I've always liked Joe Budden and Academics podcast, because Joe likes Ack. Ack can ask him anything, and Joe actually answers the question. If he goes to Adam 22, and if Adam asks him a question about Charlamagne, this nigga is not giving him the real answer. You know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna say there's no issue, whatever. Whatever. Yeah, he's gonna give him the runaround. So I do appreciate that. I mean, the Need to Know did what they were supposed to do either way by asking the nigga everything under the sun, even though they were around for half of the shit too, because they were in there working the back house during the fucking Rory and Mall crash out and shit.
They was at the crime scenes.
They was at the crime scene. So it's like, there's a lot of things that happened. There's a lot of things, anything that you can think a nigga would have asked Joe Budden in an interview was asked in this interview. This interview was like 3 hours and 25 minutes.
And they know that Joe knows that like he can't just lie to them.
Yeah, because yes,
like nigga, you can't just tell us anything.
Exactly.
You feel me? We wasn't living with you, nigga. We don't gotta like kiss your ass and shit.
Yeah. So there was a couple highlighted moments in here. So Joe, okay, one thing. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to Alex. This is my first time watching their full episode. I watched just clips of the Elliot interview, and then I've watched pieces of Nala Simone. Never the full thing, but I watch little clips or whatever. Alex says something that I have said on this podcast before. I think you didn't agree with me, but he was like, he told Joe, bro, when you and Charlamagne get together, y'all are great by each other, by yourselves. But when y'all get together, I never like that content. And I was like, nigga, you're not the only one, bro. You're not the only one, my nigga, because I never liked them together, bro. Like, separately, these niggas are phenomenal. Together, those wrap-ups never did shit for me. I never looked forward to them. It was just like, it felt forced, pretty much is what he said. So I did agree with that.
I still disagree.
Which is fine, because there's plenty of people who like it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like...
Even like you didn't like when they was collabing on podcasts.
It's probably a nostalgia aspect, too.
Yeah, but you're not alone in that, my nigga. But they talked about a couple other things. There was so many. I took screenshots of certain areas. I don't know how the Need to Know gets down in terms of playing a nigga's video. But let's go into 128.08.
Nigga said, fuck it, let's see.
Niggas better not be tripping off this shit.
You never know.
Nah.
Say something unfavorable, nigga saying, you know.
I don't got enough subscribers to be doing that shit.
Don't
That's
do
from
that.
Charlamagne when I thought that he thought we were on equal footing.
4,000.
Okay, yeah, go back.
Hold on.
3. Oh, 3,000.
Yeah, go back. Yeah. Like a minute, 30 seconds to a minute. This is him talking about his issue with Charlamagne.
It's a beautiful set. color theory.
There is also
I never
the
said it
people
wasn't.
watch it each and every year.
I never said it wasn't.
Look
I
what
want to
you
be
did.
clear.
Okay.
Look what you did.
You said I can only speak from my perspective, correct?
Okay.
So from my perspective, I wanted to ask Joe if he felt like he was getting front of me vibes because, bro, I know you're right. Mad people love that shit. Like how you said people were anticipating it. They got to see their favorites in the media space link
We're
up.
talking
But
about
me,
that
that
for the
see-through shit, 𝔓𝔦𝔐𝔓𝔦𝔑, that's why I'm never going to compare me to what other people do. I never do that. You know that about me. I like to make my own case and opinion on things, right? And when I would watch it, something felt so forced about it. I couldn't put my finger on it. Like, so again, to ask you, do you feel like
I
you was
never
getting-
got frenemy vibes from Charlamagne when I thought that he thought we were on equal footing.
Hold on. I went to college, but hold on.
What Joe is saying is he never thought that they were on equal footing.
Okay, so
He believes Charlamagne thought that they were on equal footing, but he never thought that they were on equal footing. Now, I want to challenge you because, again, going back to what I said about the Rory Mall clip, I pulled up your rebuttal to Charlamagne when you kind of laid out
Clinic.
like that.
Another clinic. Absolute
Pause real
master class.
Yeah, so there was moments. Remember when you were saying there's no championship for podcasting?
Yeah.
Like, or not podcasting, but media. I think there is like breaking stories, but then like all through this episode, when they would bring up moments, Joe would be like, "Yeah, I put a masterclass on for y'all." Like,
Classic moment.
I think that's a good game, though. I don't think that like he won the season of podcasting with that shit.
I think in podcasting you win the week.
That's what my point is
Yeah.
that there's no overall championship. You just get player of the week because you dropped 35 times this day.
Right.
But I mean, if that's the case, then it's like every week is a new championship.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Really, not a championship. It's just, you get a trophy, you get an award. If every week is a new championship, there's no champion. That's the whole point of having
So
one
one week
trophy.
champion.
Huh?
Well, I guess because the award shows ain't gonna do it right though.
But
you
nowadays,
still
Yeah,
get
now
to-
that don't even
But
count.
you still get to find out who the all-star players are. Who
You get to find out who the
superstars are.
all-star players, but there is no, this is the best podcast of this year because of this shit right here. 'Cause
Complex
we don't,
gave us-
we don't
they're
care
giving
about
us
that.
that now.
No,
but we
but
don't care about the
But
complexes or
not
the
because
awards.
it's not because of this thing here. It's because of all the different weeks. So by the end of the year, you say this podcast, goddamn, they had a good year. They
Yeah.
had a bad year. And you be like, there's niggas who won the year. Joe Budden kind of won the year.
The year's not even over yet.
I forgot.
He's had a great year, man.
Joe alluded
said
a
he
lot.
just
In
got
this,
a lot
Joe
quieter
alluded a
in
lot
here.
in this interview that Charlamagne's like their issues is like a lot of passive aggressive energy too. So that was like a lot of allusion to that as well.
But that was always obvious.
That was always
Them
obvious. That
niggas-
was
them
one of
niggas-
the bars right there too.
Because they're each other's alter egos.
Yeah, the whole Magneto
Professor X thing.
Professor X thing. But now there was one thing that was said where they talked about the landscape of the YouTubers on here. That's the screen recording that I put in there.
Gotcha.
That I think should definitely be stated because it's us.
I got you.
I
They're
was gonna say, did we catch
they're
another sneak diss or?
We didn't catch a sneak diss.
Okay.
They just forgot to mention us respectfully. It's all good though.
the sub community that's been created on YouTube that does commentary
I used to
on
say
the
this.
podcast.
I love that community.
I think they're so important
They are.
because there was gonna help this
They
shit
save
go
me marketing
farther.
dollars.
Yeah, they just do it
They
for
save
you.
me marketing dollars.
Yes.
I love
I just
them.
wonder how they have the time. Like
They're
that's
making
what I'm
money. What do you mean how they have time?
Okay, that's true.
It's a
you're right.
business.
It's a business.
They have a business. Critiquing the podcasting about podcasting is a business.
know.
Yes.
Part of the reason I do it is because of them.
Yeah,
Because
I
it
believe
feeds that community.
I believe it. And it's like Sports Center, right? Like you watch the sports, and then when you're done with the sport, watching the sports,
analyze
you
it.
come analyze it at this entity, at this hub. The Chick Smooths, the Danny from all of that. I love it.
Me too.
I love all of it. I think it helps this community.
Me too.
He loves you guys,
Couldn't agree
guys.
more.
I'm not mad at that at all.
This nigga,
Welcome to home.
What do we have to do?
Danny from the stop, nigga. Get it right.
I was about to say,
Right.
Danny from the who?
what do
nigga?
we have to do to get mentioned with our colleagues?
You want to be mentioned by them?
We put in work,
Who cares? Wouldn't hurt.
huh? I would like the world to care.
Said
That's my
wouldn't-
point.
Wouldn't hurt. Wouldn't hurt.
I don't know about the Need to Know podcast. So it's
Yeah,
like
you
whether they
do.
spoke on us, it's like who cares?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't I know what you mean.
I mean, but they just
I get
bigged
what
up.
you're saying.
I think they also just bigged up what you do.
We talk
in a sense. So
I don't know, man. Like that might just be like we might just be like the Lone Rangers in this shit. We talk like
I think
so
Alex
much
bigged
shit.
up. Alex and Joe bigged up what industry we're in. I just like that. I
She's
just
a ratchet.
I just like that. My biggest thing that I liked about that is one, Joe literally summed up the intro to our podcast, which is literally what we say. Well, that's what we need to start adding to.
Yeah.
it.
Oh no, Alex or the black dude, whoever that is,
Alex.
the dark skin one.
It was
Yeah.
Alex.
Yeah.
No, but Joe said a podcasting about podcasts.
Oh yeah.
Like we say that, but we don't say that. That needs to be said at the beginning of every episode because
We
that's what
say
we
that.
do.
I think we do say that.
You say some
We
other
no,
shit.
we say it in a joking manner. Like we're a podcast to talk about podcasts, but we say we talk about people more successful than us at what we do.
That doesn't help, but that doesn't specify what we do though.
podcast
Nah.
about podcast.
Talking about niggas more successful than us.
Yeah, the podcast about
At
podcasts.
what we do.
We just say it in a joking, sarcastic manner.
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
But
yeah.
we're saying the same
Same
thing.
thing.
That's
Yeah,
true.
same
It's
thing.
self-deprecating. Everybody love that.
Look,
Yeah.
it's if you retarded, you're not gonna get this. But if you're a normal person, nigga, you understand what's going on.
This is
It's
college.
like, you know,
But yeah, just but I don't feel no type of way that we didn't get mentioned. But don't forget, put some respect on Homeroom
Look,
University.
man,
We
and
out
not
here.
necessarily them specifically, but
Not-
I'm
not
ready.
them not them
I'm ready for
specifically.
the point in time where we are addressed formally
What
because
is
niggas
the-
is treating us like the Grim Reaper of the podcast.
That's fine, because this is Menace material for a reason. But at the same
Soul
time, it's
collectors.
like, but at the same time, it's like niggas will big you up when you're speaking positively about them. The moment that you make a hit piece about them, or not a hit piece, the moment that you have some critique for the niggas, that's when niggas' feelings get hurt, and all of a sudden it's fuck them and these
right,
niggas
yeah,
ain't
man.
shit, and these YouTube podcasts really ain't shit. I just respect 100%. And one of the things that I respect that Joe respects YouTube podcasters
Creators,
in
yeah.
general. That's number one. So it's like, at least the first time I hear you openly talk about it, there's more than one time you've talked about it. I just don't watch your show every week, obviously. You know what I'm saying? But it's not to demean or shit on.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's not a lot of hypocrisies in Joe's like thought, but there
Right.
is in Charlamagne.
Joe
Shit
hired
ton.
one
You
of them
feel me?
niggas. Joe hired Flip.
Like
He's a
Joe,
YouTuber.
Yes.
Joe respects the sport and all
Yeah.
avenues of the sport.
Right, right.
You know, whether you're the coach or the player or the fucking, the nigga that,
When I was watching this interview, I started thinking Charlamagne might be Magneto,
and Joe's the good guy.
possibly,
For creators.
for creators.
And that depends on
Yeah.
perspective, good and
No.
bad. It depends.
Well, it depends because they technically both are for the
Well,
mutants.
no, you're right.
I was just about to
You're
say
right.
Magneto.
he turned his, he went good.
Magneto's the one who's saying I'm doing it for the mutants and I'm doing it for Charlamagne is the other one because he's more built within the structure where
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're
Magneto
saying.
was like,
Made
I'm
you
gonna get us right. Our mutants, we gonna be
that's
right.
true. That's
Magneto
true.
made you embrace being a mutant, truly.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
Which is why Joe is still the evil one.
Yeah, that's a
Shout out
fact.
to Joe, nigga.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Or the
But-
superhero.
In this case, I am riding with Magneto. I would want you to, tell me how to.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I'm crossing
Nigga,
over,
he
bro.
accepts us for who we are.
Yeah.
Charlamagne shames us.
It's all about
Ain't
perspective.
that some bullshit? That's some sucking nigga
No,
shit,
but it
bro. I
makes
swear to
perfect sense.
God.
Them niggas always had the exact opposite perspective
Yeah.
of one another. Like, that's why when Joe started bigging this shit up, I'm like, all right, of course, Charlamagne dissed it.
Yeah.
That's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah,
That's
true.
a fact. When you put it that way, simply put.
But yeah, I think the Need to Know podcast. I mean, outside the clips, I don't know. That was the first full episode I watched. I watched half of Elliot's and I've seen a couple clips. I haven't seen anything that has me like wanting to go back on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I didn't get enough Reggie to
really gauge.
where she's at on the podcast, but it's understandably you can't compete with somebody who's been working with these.
right. They have
you
a
know,
relationship.
I didn't expect her to shine on that episode. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Alex stuck out for me in that episode, though. You know what I mean? But I didn't expect her because you can't compete when two niggas are catching up with their old homie. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's better. She played her position correctly, so I can give her credit on that type shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but I'll keep watching clips and stuff like that just to see what they got going on.
I mean, shout out to Need to Know, you know what I mean? Shit.
That's about it. That's really about it, though.
They doing their thing. We doing our thing. It's
Right.
kind of crazy, but
They're getting addressed by both the leaders and the mutants.
I ain't really worried about fucking.
Because Charlamagne shouted them niggas out in spite of us.
He did. Yeah, don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say that yet.
Say what specific? Well, yeah, you don't want to say it.
Yeah. That I don't want to take away from their shout out. I don't want to take away from the shout out. It was off the back of a diss to us, though. You know what I'm saying?
Because they did earn the shout out.
Because they did earn the shout out. No, it's confirmed. We just haven't told people it's confirmed yet.
What are you talking about? Oh, okay.
Charlamagne dissing us.
Oh yeah.
It's confirmed. We just haven't made it known why we know it's for sure confirmed.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, I don't know what goes on in the background, but
Well, now y'all know that we know, but we not gonna tell y'all.
yeah, pretty
that we
much.
know.
But
Sign up for the Patreon.
yeah, respect to the Need to Know podcast. You know,
Man, shout out them niggas. I never
don't-
really cared
yeah, I
about
don't-
watching them until, Joe came. But shout out to them, man. They doing their thing.
When Charlamagne bigged him up to diss us, did like mentally for you a little bit, even though like of course there's no beef or like no actual drama between us because we don't know these niggas.
Right.
But in a way, did it feel like that he pent us up against each other?
I don't want St. Vonner to feel like that.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't want St. Vonner.
I don't
to feel
want
like
it to
that.
appear that
That's
way.
how. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
That's what I was. I'm glad you said it. You put it in there for me. I didn't know how to say it. I don't want, if there was any background conversation about us
Right.
that ever came up, I don't want him to feel like there is any sort of pent up animosity or rivalry between us.
Yeah.
Just because it was a big up, rightfully earned, but on the back of us
Right.
getting sub diss.
Right.
You know, just if you don't know, we were getting we were getting dissed by Charlamagne for like a month straight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like
Dissed
we was
or
getting
just subliminally addressed?
we was getting sneak diss for like a
It was a
month.
sneak diss.
Okay.
We were getting sneak
right.
diss for so
All right.
long, I stopped giving a fuck.
And we,
Where I
and
was
we
just like-
confirmed. We confirmed from.
yeah, so it's like we was getting sneak diss from this nigga for a month. So obviously niggas know who we are and they talk about us and things of that nature. I didn't want that to. I don't know if there is something like that, but I don't want that to be a thing at all.
Because we made jokes that like we're the evil version of them.
We did make that joke. That was a Patreon joke. So yeah, but yeah, we did make a joke that we're the evil version of y'all. of your podcast setup.
Essentially.
Which we are.
The
You know what I'm saying?
Antichrist.
Goodness gracious.
But we also specialize in two different things, though. They're a music podcast, and we're a podcast about podcasts. So there's two different lanes that we're in as well.
I would say
We're not even covering the same topics.
nigga. Two
Yeah.
different tunes, nigga.
Yeah. So let's get over to Danny real quick.